from way down there. Look at me, I'm smiling, beautiful and violent. Welcome to your last nightmare. Psycho in my bloodstream, madness is my morphine. Beg for it from way down there. 'Cause I'm a king.
I've seen this before. Time will return.
It's like it's like
Tell me, is this something you admire? Off the wings of an angel, I'm high, baby. Hold on. Hold on. Tell me, is this something you imagined? Off the wings of an angel, I'm high, baby. Hold on. Hold on. I wanna feel your body. Like a dog scent. Baby, a pit bull. I need your markings. Babe, I need your markings. If you just say the word, I'll go away, go away. Just say the word, I'm gone. Used to the crime, being stowed away. Said I'm used to the crime, but now it's a 15 story. It's a 15 story. Yeah, well, is it do or die? You my compass, so I need a handful for you approaching. Destroying my focus. Just say the word, I'll go away, go away. Just say the word, I'm gone. Used to the crime, being stowed away. Said I'm used to the crime, but now it's a 15 story. From a rooftop to your rooftop. From a rooftop to your rooftop. From a rooftop on my way down to your rooftop. And no safe route, oh I know. Rooftops and no playground. Heard I feel it flowing and it came down. It's a 15 story. It's a 15 story. ours, it still feels like heaven. Cause we don't let the bad vibes get in, we don't let them win. Testify to the strength of a true bond, flying high over the heads of a rude mob. Staying there, the revolution of the whole clock, kill them all with love. I don't care if they're talking about us. No, I don't care if they put us down. I don't care if the sky falls around us. We're riding on a pink cloud. Out, out.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Revival League Season 2 Champions League Round 2. My name is Retro and we are here with the final game of Round 2 of Champions League. Anyway, we still have a couple Premier League games playing pretty much at the same time, as well as a couple Alpha League games playing as well. So it's quite a busy Sunday today, but this will be the final game of Champions League, at least for Round 2, of course. Tomorrow we begin the countdown for the round 3 games, which will all be exciting, or at least I'm hoping that they will be exciting. We've got a pretty interesting matchup here between Arctic VULPES and LUMINA Gaming. Of course, if you have been following so far throughout round 1 and round 2, you will remember that all the way back in round 1, LUMINA Gaming played against the senior team of Arctic Esports. Of course, Arctic VULPES are currently the junior team of Arctic Esports, the senior team being, of course, Arctic Wolves, who gave quite a good showing against LUMINA Gaming. They won it 2-0 in their maps. They were both very, very quick closeouts, 7-1 and 7-5, if I remember, 7-3, something like that. It was a very, very quick closeout from the side of Arctic Wolves. Arctic Wolves then went on to play against Vitical in round 2. Or actually, no, against Voltage Gaming, my apologies. In round 2, they won one, lost one, and one of the ones that they lost in overtime. So they picked up a few points, but not maximum points. Currently, LUMINA Gaming are the only remaining team with 0 points. Actually, no, they're not the only remaining team, as if I remember correctly, Eternity didn't manage to pick up any points yesterday, so they are also at the bottom of the leaderboard with 0 points. Will LUMINA be able to pick up some points here against Arctic Wolves, or will they join Eternity down at the bottom of the leaderboard? Guess we'll have to find out. But interestingly is that Arctic Wolves, when they played against their opponents back in round 1, they were very, very interesting games. They went all the way into full overtime, both maps, so they picked up only 3 points, unfortunately, as they won one, lost one. But of course, because they won in overtime and lost in overtime, they managed to pick up 2 points from their win and 1 point from their loss. So their opponents and them basically shared scores all around, both in points and in round difference. But now it is Arctic Wolves versus LUMINA Gaming. We are starting out on Clubhouse, LUMINA Gaming with the defensive side first, and they have decided to go for the bar stage bomb site first. An unlikely bomb site to see in general. Definitely an unlikely bomb site to see go out first. But that might be exactly what LUMINA are hoping for, is that, you know, Arctic Wolves just won't be that ready for it and won't be ready to attack it, just considering how rare it is to see it in general. But they've already decided to go into the map, have Arctic Wolves with Dyer already being inside of Stockroom, looking through these feet holes, which were intended, of course, for the defense to take advantage of the attackers rather than the other way around. And with a grenade, they already make their way inside of the site. Red Cannon and Dyer are already inside. The plant is going down. LUMINA Gaming are completely unaware. They have gone for zapping with those Evil Eyes, but they haven't been able to find any success with it. Those bees are finding them out as well, and Red Cannon through the smoke will find one. Red Cannon on the other side of the, that was Connor that got another one. Rooney will find one more, and now it's all down to Ultra in a 1 versus 5 when the original round hadn't even broken 30 seconds into the round and it was already over. Nobody on the diffuser. He can't really see anything from above. He knows somebody's coming up his main stairs, but of course that time is dwindling down. He's only got about 5 seconds now to get to that diffuser and start diffusing if he wants to win the round. And as we reach that 7-second mark, there is absolutely no chance of him winning this round. The first round will go to Arctic VULPES in a very, very quick fashion.
Bomb defused.
Very, very quick. Very, very quick. You don't usually see a site being won, or a round being won this quickly. That was essentially a flawless round coming out from the side of Arctic VULPES. It wasn't completely a flawless, as Observer Happy says, a rip flawless. But still, that was a very, very, very good round from the side of VULPES, and I really hope that now as they're going down to Church and Arsenal, the Lumina Gaming are going to be able to bounce back off of that, as that is not a good start to this match. You know, usually you will see teams rushing into the first round just to set the pace and do something a little bit different. We see that quite often, actually, not just in Revival, but sort of across competitive R6. You see it so often where teams will just rush and they will set the pace. It's like, okay, if they win the round off the back of that, then okay, they have an advantage and now they can really start the game. And if they lose it, well, we rushed, it's not that big of a deal. It's only round one. It's fine. Now we know that that's not going to work anymore and we can move on. But with Arctic VULPES having won that round, and it wasn't even close for Lumina, who throughout that entire planting process had no idea that Dyer and the Red Cannon were already inside of sight, had no idea that plant was going down, and had no ways to counter it. But Zet, feeling a little bit vengeful, goes for a spawn peek, catches Red Cannon, one of the culprits of that rush in the previous round, and manages to come away with it safely, gaining a little bit of man advantage for his team. Chicken could be the next victim here as he's rappelling up onto that slab, but it's in fact Rooney on the window instead that ends up being the victim. Connor will find Oost. There goes the flawless now for the side of Lumina Gaming, denied, and that is of course the Solus gone as well. A very, very crucial operator for a lot of defensive lineups, just considering how much utility and how much information she could deny. Zet still on the move and zero intention of actually leaving his current area. Of course, they have brought a Dokkaebi, which is why you can see that cell phone being down on the floor from the dead defender. But of course, considering the fact that Rooney was one of the opening deaths, he is not able to hack those cameras and gain a little bit of information for his team. Dyer now on drones, doesn't spot out the punch hole in the garage wall and doesn't spot out Zet, who's currently situated inside of garage. He will be dropping away as we near that halfway point through the round. Chicken hunting the roaming Mozzie, who makes his way back to site safely and without any issues. There goes the hot drop through the hatch. They're completely unaware. He gets one. Can he get another onto the Tachanka? Doing so much damage, and Ultra goes down. Dyer now inside of sight, getting challenged onto from deep inside of Arsenal. Can't get the finisher onto his first original kill. He gets one. Or that's Chicken actually getting a couple, and Chicken will get the final as well. VULPES win another round after it really wasn't looking like it was going to go their way. Much better pacing from the side of Lumina, but Arctic Wolves are just better at that retake. They decided they were just going to drop through that hatchet. They were going to get all of the kills that they needed. It was a hot drop through the hatch. They got one. They got it down onto the Tachanka, and then they just went and cleaned up the shot from the side of main stairs when the defenders weren't really ready for it. And Arctic Wolves taking quite a serious lead here, even though it's only 2 rounds. But the momentum is really what matters, and they have that momentum. Both of these rounds were over well before the halfway point through the round. I mean, it was at about 90 seconds through the round when VULPES decided to drop that hatch and to go for that swift attack, and not to even mention the complete rush in the first round that ended with about 30 seconds. Very, very quick pace from VULPES, and I think we might be out of here by about 9 o'clock just from how quick VULPES seem to be. And on a quite defender-sided Clubhouse as well. I mean, Clubhouse sort of infamous for being very, very defender-sided. It's a reason why a lot of teams don't actually like it all that much. It's, it's a staple in Siege. Everybody loves it. It's such an old map. Everybody's comfortable with it. You play it all the time. But it's still quite defender-sided. It's about 56-57% defender-sided, which is quite a high win rate for the defense. So a lot of teams don't like it. They especially don't like to attack it. And, well, I think VULPES might be deciding something completely different, as they are on quite a tear here right now. This time, bringing in Monty, deciding, hey, I'm not going to die to a spawn peak again, and I'm going to be a little bit more prepared for any sort of engagements that are coming my way. Ultra this time is the Mozzie player, and I do believe that he is roaming, just as well as his teammate was before. Yeah, he's set up shop all the way up inside of Cash Room, which, of course, the roaming presence on Clubhouse is very, very important, and it might even be one of the most important maps for the roam. Wow. What a bait there from Dyer with, of course, that Grim to bait out a C4. Connor will get the first pick onto Zet. Connor is, I believe, in sight. He gets one, gets two, gets three. Can he get a fourth? Yes, he does! He needs just one to get an ace. It's the roaming Mozzie who will be dropping down into Oil Pit, or at least he's looking to. The plant surely going down now, or it should be. Yeah, there we go. Plant going down. Ultra making his way down the blue corridor, trying to find his way back to site. I believe that Connor's teammates are allowing him to get the ace, but no. Rooney's there with the shield onto Ultra, gets the final kill, and another round going the way of Arctic Vulpes. Lumina, a team that once had a very, very big legacy, and that still really have that legacy. It's just, they're struggling a little bit, but they once had the world in the palm of their hand. They were the favorites to win it last season because they were leading last season. If you kept up with the last season, they were leading for quite some time. They were very, very good. And then they had some very, very unfortunate and ill-timed roster changes that forced them to play the playoffs with quite a few substitutes, which of course messed with their momentum, messed with their strategies, messed with everything that they were doing, everything that they knew how to do. They ended up not making it very far in those playoffs, and now still just struggling. Of course, they had the benefit of not having to go through qualifiers, so they had quite a bit of a break of about a month where they were able to, discuss everything that's been going on. They were able to pick up a couple full-time players. For example, Ultra, who last season in the playoffs was only a substitute, and this time he is, of course, their full-time, on their full-time roster. So they were able to pick up a few full-time players. They were able to fix a few of the wounds that they had coming out from last season, but they are still just struggling, losing in a 2-0 fashion against the senior Arctic Esports team. I think some people may have expected, but they definitely did not expect a 3-0 momentum coming out right off the bat in map 1 from the junior team as well. And they are keeping up with that momentum. Those drones are coming in, and the players are coming in right after the drones as well. Ultra looking to infiltrate the Selma charges on the cash wall, and unbeknownst to him, but he downs one of the players. He actually downs the ace. Here comes the C4 as well for the finisher. It will not catch him. It's just a little bit too short, and they pick up the downed player back to life. He is, and back up on his feet. Rooney will be pushing up with this Montaigne, trying to find some of these players, trying to push them out from their current positions, and Ultra will have to rotate all the way out, being challenged from multiple angles, being attacked quite a bit. Unsure if there's anybody on the archives or on the construction wall. Rooney just walks straight in with the pistol in hand, gets the opening pick again for the side of Arctic Vulpes. They're getting close up on this mirror window as well. The mirror player behind it, unable to really do anything. That's Zet taking so much damage, or actually, that's Solvers taking so much damage. No, it was that. Okay, I got a little bit confused there. Here comes a swing from Solvers. He does manage to find a kill onto Connor, equalize the man count yet again, as they found Red Cannon elsewhere. But here comes the Monty again, and he's there with one. Gets immediately traded out, however, by Ooze, who gets traded right back, and now it's all down to Solvers. 1 kill to his name so far in this round. How much can he really accomplish here in a 1 versus 2 with more than a minute left for the attacking team? And not much at all, as Chicken is there again for the side of Arctic Vulpes, and they take a 4-0 lead. Lumina Gaming, one of the very, very strong teams, or once strong teams in R6 competitive scene, and not just in R6 competitive, but just in CSGO and in other competitive leagues. They're a staple of the community, of the competitive community, and to see them struggle like this is really something that I don't think anybody saw coming. If you watch the game against the senior team of Arctic Esports, Arctic Wolves, last week. Of course, I was there. I casted it with Summon the Nerds, who is unfortunately not here with us tonight, but I casted that game, or we casted that game rather, and we talked about this, about how disappointing it is to see Lumina Gaming struggle this much, and they're just not really able to find their footing at all so far this season. And it really just sucks to see. You really do not like seeing teams struggle as much as this team has been. It's really, really quite unfortunate. We will be taking a short pause, of course, if you can see on your screens at the moment. A bit of a hopefully it's not going to lead into a rehost, of course, but it will be just a bit of a pause as one of the players from Arctic VULPES is losing connection and is having some technical difficulties. But a 4-0 lead. I mean, I haven't really had much time to discuss Lumina's defenses so far, apart from, the roaming Muzzy, and roaming is so vital to Clubhouse, and, of course, setting up the vertical positions and setting up the vertical angles when they were defending bar stage as well. All of those, and then the cache extension when they were defending gym and bedroom in that previous round. They are just not able to find any sort of success, and despite the defenses they are putting up, which are pretty default and they should be working, they really are not working for them at all at the moment. Really, really sad to see from Lumina, but it's only 4 rounds in. They still have an entire game to make up, or an entire map to make up, and it could just be the fact that they are not prepared for the aggression that VULPES are bringing out, because they are definitely being pretty aggressive. I mean, that was the only round, that previous round 4 on Gym and Bedroom, that was the only round that managed to get to below that 90-second line for either team. All of the other ones were won within 90 seconds of the round by Arctic VULPES, and despite getting that initial man advantage back in round 2, that really made me think, okay, well, they could be able to pull something off here. They just haven't been able to find their footing at all. And I'm hoping that it's just them not being able to counter the aggression that's coming up from VULPES, and maybe even just a little bit of this isn't Lumina's map. Because, if this is the case of they just are struggling, and, even when they go onto Skyscraper next round, they're still not going to be able to find anything, well, that will be very, very, very disappointing, as they are a very, very good team that we know very, very well can do more than they are currently showing. They're just not able to do it right now, and hopefully they're going to be able to find themselves a little bit more in the rounds to come. But without any further ado, the round has begun yet again, as we see the return of the Red Cannon going back down into the basement, of course, a site that they had lost twice already before. Both of them basically on a rush. Hopefully, as I say again, they are going to be able to find a little bit more success on it this time. They are going to be able to hold themselves to a slightly higher standard, and are going to be able to find something more here, bringing the Goyo now to stop that aggression a little bit, to stop them from taking map control as easily. Of course, bringing the Warden to stop any sort of flashes coming out. They're concerned about a blitz play, for example, or for, a Ying. Bringing the Echo as well, of course, for more information and for a way to maybe stun a potential shield operator, so that he is not able to push in as quickly. Of course, there to deny a plant as well, considering the fact that Arctic VULPES did get the plant down twice so far. It's just a matter of whether they're going to be able to do that again, or whether Lumina Gaming have been able to read them like a book and are going to be able to find something in this round. This time, no one really roaming. Everyone is either on site or site adjacent, like inside of Dirt that we saw Zet playing inside of. The rest of the players all inside of site or inside of the blue corridor or behind that generator, just holding on as close as possible so as to not allow Arctic VULPES to get close quickly and to prevent them from being able to cut off any sort of roamers. But here we go, the push is already coming onto those blue stairs. They open up that hatch as well. Solver's now under a lot of pressure. Oost is there. a faraway angle to support him, but as the drop is coming into the oil pit as well, the push is going to start to come, and another player pushes in from instead of Moto. They get one, but immediately there for the trade is the rest of his team. Connor cannot really... Oh, he does find one with the Solrus, but not before he already does damage to his team. It's a 1 versus 3 here for Connor. There's a player playing instead of Church on a prone angle, and he will be the one that will get the final kill. Lumina finally put themselves on the board, finally find a round. I mean, I don't think that really can be said. Just because I saw in chat there, Tyre saying a bit toxic much about the prone angle. I don't know if that's really as toxic as bringing a Monty would be, or just rushing. But yeah, we can't see the scoreboard either, Connor. Unfortunately, it is just a bug with the new season. But in any case, yes, the first timeout does come out from the side of Arctic VULPES, which is very, very surprising to see them taking a timeout this early on, and to see them taking a timeout at all. To be completely honest with you, just considering the fact that this is, that they are on such a tear so far. I mean, they've taken 5 rounds, or they've taken 4 rounds so far, and should they even lose this one, they're still going to be at a pretty good split for themselves, especially considering the fact that they are attacking on Clubhouse. You wouldn't really expect them to be winning many more rounds than they currently are. But still, very good job from Lumina into reading into what VULPES like to do, which is just rush and be very, very aggressive. And now with having all 5 players near site and on site, allowed them to, even though they lost the first pick yet again, they were able to get that trade immediately, and then they were able to get a couple more trades coming out as well. And, well, if you had a problem with toxicity before, Dyer, I think you're going to be even more concerned now with the fact that they are bringing Flash. A very unlikely operator to see be brought. Of course, we saw her get played a little bit. I don't think we've ever seen her get banned in Revival. I will say that. I don't think that it's quite that dangerous, although she has been banned before in competitive R6. Sometimes there's a player that is just that explosive on that operator, and you just need to handicap them a little bit. But this time, it will be bringing the Clash. Of course, just another way to slow VULPES down as much as possible. They've gone for another extension into the cash room again, but this time they went for a slightly different approach, where not only did they extend the cash room, but they extended the extension into CCTV as well by breaking that, or by reinforcing the outside CCTV wall rather than the inside cash room wall, of course, to force VULPES to use a hard breaching device on that wall and to push in from there. But both of the players that were playing inside of cash room have retreated a little bit further away, and one of them is Oos, who's still challenging onto them, but he will be getting pressured from multiple angles here as they're starting to push in from top of the red stairs, from inside of CCTV, and also from the construction wall. I was about to say he's going to have to playing with his life here, but he does decide better of it and jumps down the hatch, which I don't know if Arctic VULPES are aware of right now, so he could be going for a bit of a flank up those red stairs, and if they are not aware, and if they are not careful, they could just be going down. Solrus pick up 2 actually from the bedroom doorway, as 2 of the players that got taken out were distracted by the clash inside of Logi. Connor and Red Cannon find themselves around construction, and now in construction, Dyer on the window trying to maybe get himself an entry point. The cannon will swing onto Solrus, find the kill, and Oos decided better of it, did not decide to go for a flank, and instead is finding himself on top of the main stairs, waiting for the push to come up from the attacking side. VULPES, for the first time now, slowing down a little bit and stalling really for time, trying to find an entry point into the side and into the defense line of Lumina Gaming, which they have not been able to achieve so far. Connor just going for some pre-fires throughout the map, throughout the room, unable to find anything, was just narrowly missing the shots there onto Ultra, but was not able to find a kill, unfortunately. Cannon gets close enough to punch away the shield, but not close enough to kill the Clash. Connor now on the windows, trying to find something from there. Dyer will be the next one to go down, and now it's all down to Cannon. And Connor, as that time, for the first time in this map, is going down for VULPES. Cannon makes his way inside of the site as he takes down Ooze, but he's immediately traded out. Connor now in the other bomb site inside of the gym room. Will have to rotate around as there is no safe place for him to be inside of there. Rushing up those main stairs, trying to find himself an entry point. That time very, very low for him now. No diffuser in hand. He's got a shotgun waiting for him at the top of the stairs, close range. Camera is spotting the player on those main stairs, so they will know. He's a little bit further down than expected him to be, and well, it looks like Connor will just be saving a little bit of KD, but it will not work, as there comes the drop from Zet with that shotgun. Gets the kill and gets the round win. Phew, if I may say so myself, definitely a few situation here for the side of Lumina Gaming, who weren't looking too hot for quite a bit there, but they were able to finally pick up a round for themselves. Not just a round, but 2 rounds. Of course, a 4-2 split when you're starting on defense on Clubhouse is not ideal. That is definitely the split that it is the opposite of the split that they would have wanted. They would have wanted a 4-2 split rather than a 2-4 split as they're starting to attack. But of course, it could still work out for them, especially because we can see the VULPES are deciding to play quite aggressively still. We've seen them play very, very aggressive so far throughout the matchup, and they're going to continue playing very, very aggressive with the Kapkan, with the Oryx, with the Legion, and with the Solus. Very, very aggressive operators, and all of them. And of course, bringing that Kapkan for just a little bit of trolling and a little bit of, hey, by the way, you can't just rush. You can't just do what we just did, because if you try to, you will die to a Kapkan trap, of course. Looking just to waste time, looking to waste a little bit of HP, and is Dyer looking for a run-out? Yes, he is. Here comes the run-out from not just Dyer, but from Cannon as well, or Cannon will be the only one to do it. Dyer jumps away from it at the last second. Cannon can just see the head of a player, but unfortunately, it's a lot easier to see it where we are. Dyer went for a different run-out, and dies to Oost. The opening kill going the way of Lumina Gaming, but they are immediately traded out. Solaris is there to find Chicken, and as I said, Arctic VULPES are going to continue playing very, very aggressively. 3 players went for a spawn peek or a run out of sorts. 2 of them died to it. Only Cannon was able to find some success from it. Now, a good thing about that is the fact that he did manage to take out the Nomad, so that means that he will be able to continue to stay on the run for the entire remainder of the round, as will his teammates, considering that there's not any gadgets holding them back. About that, only a couple claymores from Oost, but of course, Rooney is the Solus, so he'll be able to spot those claymores before they are able to do any damage. Minute gone, Solar's taking a little bit of damage, trying to, actually, I don't even know where that damage was. I wanted to say maybe on a Kapkan trap or trying to breach a hatch, but of course there aren't any electrification, and Oost, with a beautiful swing, will find Rooney, who tried to go for that roam strategy inside of Garage. Connor will be waiting at the bottom of the blue stairs with the shotgun, trying to find somebody at close range. Meanwhile, Cannon is sneaking his way down those main stairs and is looking to find a kill. He will find one onto Oost. That is a direct trade. He's pre-firing onto the Soros, who is searching for another. C4 will blow up, but Solaris is there with the vertical pressure. He gets him, and Ultra on the other side of the map will find Connor. Another round going to Lumina Gaming, who are definitely looking a lot better for wear than they looked in those first 4 rounds. Also, it has to be said that Arctic VULPES are letting it slip away just a little bit, getting too aggressive too early, and allowing Lumina Gaming to just completely find them and to shut them down. Of course, this is what I always say, is that it doesn't matter how many rounds you win, how many rounds you lose. Any round that you play is a round for information. That is so much information that you gain about your enemy's playstyle, about the operators that they might be bringing, about the size that they may be defending, just considering how good they are at dissecting your strategies on defense. The same way goes for of course, if you are defending first, if you're attacking first, rather, if you're able to see, okay, they are going for a lot of runouts, they're going for a lot of spawn peaks. We know that they're going to be rushing with the blitz, with the ying, with some of those fast-paced operators. We know how they like to play, and that is exactly the information that Lumina Gaming were able to gain. And then with first, the very unfortunate tech timeout that AV had to take due to a Red Cannon's connectivity issues, and then another tactical timeout that they took for strategic purposes, that gave Lumina quite a lot of time to discuss the playstyles and the decisions of Arctic Wolves, enough to be able to find those opening kills. But unfortunately, this time it will not be as successful, as Rooney is there with another push up those blue stairs to find the first kill onto Ultra, and that is now their entry fragger, or one of their entry fraggers. Of course, their Iana gone as well, alongside with her grenades, so that will not be able to get rid of any utility that they might have in place, of which there is a shield and a couple of those Fenrir gadgets as well. Of course, Fenrir, the brand new operator coming with this season, was decided to be allowed by the players from round 2, so this is now the tail end of round 2, and he's been allowed to be played all week. And from the hatch, Zet will find one, could have almost found another, he could just, but no, he does not. Connor is there with the kill instead. Maggie now still challenging onto these hatches, and Rooney will find another one onto Oos now from inside of Dirt Tunnel. Turns his back to the tunnel itself, but of course there's no way for him to get taken down, or there's no way for Maggie to just jump into this breach without being heard by the players still playing at the end of the Dirt Tunnel. Lumina Gaming now in a 2 versus 4, stalling quite a bit, just trying to communicate with each other, despite having that hatch open. Might not be that easy, but they find another kill. Solars just catches a pixel there of Rooney, who retreats his way back to site and leaves that Dirt Tunnel now exposed for Maggie's taken. Solar's trying to do some damage still from up top. Of course, those Capca traps still have a potential to be trouble for the side of Lumina, but Solrus from a vertical angle will find another one onto Connor, and now we know for sure that Maggie has made his way inside of the Dirt Tunnel. Chicken and Rooney both working with quite low HP, or at the very least Rooney is, who is just about a bullet's worth of HP. Maggie can still take a couple shots before he goes down. So this is a good position for Lumina to be in right here, right now. That hatch open. The HP advantage as they take down Chicken. They are now dealing with only Rooney, who is working with only about 10 HP to his name. They make the drop through the hatch. They have the support. One's at the bottom of the main stairs, and he gets the swing onto him. He doesn't know where the other player is, and Solrus gets him. Beautiful, beautiful coordination there coming out from Lumina Gaming. They take 1 and they take 2 rounds. A round that was not looking too winnable does go to Lumina Gaming there with a bit of Solrus Masterclass. Could not agree more. Very, very well played. Quite a lot of patience from both of the 2 remaining players from the side of Lumina Gaming, and very, very good coordination. I'll play off your contact. You know, I'll swing, you swing. He can't swing us both at the same time. We're on different planes of the map. And beautiful, beautiful swing, beautiful communication. Hey, he's right on Church double door. Swing him from the rotate, and that's exactly what he did. He got the kill. Beautifully retaken, beautifully won from the side of Lumina Gaming. They equalized the scoreline, which a few rounds ago did not even seem possible. They looked like they were free fall. They looked like they were in free fall, but now they are definitely starting to make it up. But again, it's not just the Lumina Gaming Masterclass. It is also Arctic Vulpes given too much away too quickly. Chicken wasting, or not necessarily wasting, but using an impact grenade to get rid of a drone, of course, denying utility and denying information from the side of Lumina Gaming. Always very, very crucial, very, very important. And as they are now defending the gym bedroom site, that information becomes as crucial as ever to find out those Fenrir gadgets, to spot out the Miras, to spot out any potential threats that may be lying in the defense lines of Arctic Vulpes, and still just giving that aggression right back to Lumina Gaming. Our Vulpes, who we could see Connor there for just a moment trying to go for a bit of a spawn peek attempt there through the wall, or just make a hole to make them sweat a little bit, to make them a little bit worried. Solrus taking quite a lot of damage through that exact wall. He will be going for the breach onto the wall in question. Rooney still situated safely inside of Castrum, and of course with the Fenrir gadget right in front of him, those footholes all the way at the end of the rafters, and of course him being Warden, he will be able to see through the Fenrir gadget itself. Of course, the Fenrir gadget, once an attacker is within proximity of the gadget, will deploy a very large purple bubble of smoke, and they just rush him completely. Zet is there with the first one, or Oost is there with the first one, Zet is there with the follow-up. Arctic Wolves find themselves in a much less favorable position here in a 3 versus 5, with only about 75 seconds gone in the round so far. Oost just placing down some flank camps, trying to cut off any sort of rotations, any sort of pushes from the defenders. Of course, this time they do not have a Nomad on the board, so they're not going to be able to stop any flanks with that. And here comes a breach onto that construction wall as well, pushing Dyer out of his position on top of that, or underneath that hatch on the, of course, the Mira window that's looking onwards onto the garage, or onto the construction room, rather. Minute to go for Lumina, who have decided to slow it down a little bit. Of course, they had 2 minutes to work with just a little bit ago, and now they are working with only about 1. But as Maggie gets another one of the cannon, it's looking a lot less likely. There goes a trade, and there goes another. There goes one more. Dyer and Chicken are there, but here comes the push from the main stairs. Ultra will find one against the Solus now. Cannot afford to use any of his utilities, of course. The Solus will see it coming. Here comes Grenade as well, giving away his position. I think it bounced off a little bit badly as it exploded where he maybe didn't necessarily want it to. Going for another frag grenade onto that gym door just to give him something to look at. You can guess that he's hiding behind that mattress, but unfortunately, Chicken is just a better gunner of the two. Finds that kill, finds that round. It's 5-4 for VULPES, and they finally take a round after losing a couple in a row. Still a little bit of smack talk coming up from VULPES, saying let's thought that they were gonna come back. Of course, that was a very, very good comeback attempt from Lumina Gaming, and it is still so far from over. I mean, as we see round 10 now, we could be seeing, even potentially overtime, or maybe Lumina Gaming could be coming back around completely and getting the map win in regulation already. But back down to basement they go. Of course, they lost it twice the last time that they tried to defend it. The first time it was quite a bit of spawn peek attempts, run out of attempts, all sorts. Then in the next round that they defended on here, back in round 8, they had the man advantage, but then they were just peeking when they didn't need to. They were given too much away too soon, and Lumina Gaming were able to find that round. Not to even mention the fact that that round may have been won by Arctic Wolves, but Lumina Game very, very, very close to winning it, which, considering how they looked in those first 4 rounds all the way back in the first half, Lumina Gaming are definitely looking a lot better for wear in this moment in time. The round has well and truly begun. They haven't really brought a dedicated hard reacher. They've only brought the secondary hard reachers, those colloquially known as can openers. Dyer through the drone hole could potentially be finding some damage or a kill onto Solrus. There goes a frag grenade as well through that drone hole to, of course, destroy the Cade Claw that was situated at the bottom, and to open up that wall. Ultra taking a little bit of damage from that TCSG at a long angle, but Dyer will be rotating out of there. Zed taking quite a lot of damage from a vertical angle from all the way inside of the bomb site. Red Cannon with a pre-writ C4 could be looking for a throw, and he will be looking for a toss-up. He finds Zed, who is just very, very unfortunately not quick enough to run away. Solrus on the draw and will not be spotting out Rooney, who is all the way inside of the strip club. Connor as well at the top of those blue stairs could also be looking to do some damage. Ultra will be pushing by himself through the dirt tunnel. Here comes another C4 from Dyer, and it will find Solrus. Unfortunately, those C4s are just being really, really damaging to the side of Lumina. Connor will find Oost as well. Ultra, instead of dirt tunnel, can't do much, and it's all down to Maggie. And in 1 versus 5, he'll get shut down as well, and it's a flawless round from Arctic VULPES to put them onto match point. They secure themselves another point in this matchup. Still a little bit of smack talk coming out from VULPES. They're just relentless. Of course, there is, a lot of these people are friends, and there's really very rarely is there actual toxicity coming out from these teams. So don't be looking at this and thinking, oh, these guys are talking trash and they're being so mean and so rude, so toxic. That's not at all what's happening. And well, if it were,
need to locate and defuse bombs.
I doubt that some of these teams would still be competing within the league, but of course that is not happening. So it's just a bit of friendly banter. Quite funny to see sometimes, although it does get a little bit old after a point. I will have to admit that it does get sometimes a little bit old. But as long as Lumina Gaming have nothing against it, then who am I to really say anything about it? But the potentially final round of this matchup is beginning, and it will be a CCTV defense. The first one that we have seen so far, CCTV cash room. The first one that we have seen so far in this matchup, neither team have really gone to defend this. They've only gone to defend it technically by defending, of course, the gym bedroom bomb site, and then extending the roam presence all the way into cash room, or extending the bomb site. Connor, again, with another spawn peek, could be looking to find somebody. A little bit jittery, might have been able to spot out Ultra there, but I do believe he was behind the van or behind a wall for the majority of that entire engagement. Solar's taking a lot of damage, as is Cannon, who I believe is the player responsible for Solar's being down but not out at the moment. And Rooney with the Cade pistol will be finding Maggie. It's effectively 3 versus 5 at the moment for the side of Lumina Gaming, unless they are able to pick up Solrus, which they very well might be able to do, but of course they're going to have to be careful. They're going to have to be careful about any runouts or anything like that. Cannon will find Oost with a can trap all the way on the top floor, and as Solrus does get picked up, the team is a little bit disjointed as Ultra is pushing away from where his team is at the moment, having to throw himself in. And that's something that you really want to see your entry player doing, but he doesn't really have a choice, considering that they are very, very limited on players that will be trying to open up this construction wall to get an entrance. Here comes a little bit of a smiley face from Chicken as well.
Bomb located by attackers.
The job coming into the logi room as well. The team now together again in a 3 versus 5, having to try and attack onto the bomb site with only about 90 seconds to go. Those goo mines are coming out as well to block their path. They still have a couple C4s left as well, so a lot of that could be quite bad. Connor will be finding Solrus with just an impact grenade. Of course, he was very low HP. There goes the flawless round as that takes down Connor. Immediately traded out, however, and Chicken is just rushing into the construction room. He gets double swung. There was not much, nowhere really that he could look, and the round goes to Arctic VULPES, as does the matchup, at a 7-4 fashion. They win the map. They take 3 points with them and extend their lead over the unfortunately struggling Lumina Gaming team. Well, that was a map for sure. That was for sure a map. I think well, it's really difficult to decide who I want the MVP to go to, just considering how quick all of those rounds were and how impactful a lot of those players were, but not in the traditional way. Like, they were getting kills, yes, but the way that they were getting those kills was a little bit iffy with, of course, the roundouts and the spawn peaks. Really tough to gauge a player's performance from being able to get a kill on an unsuspecting runout or spawn peak. I guess I will give it to Chicken, just because he ended up being the MVP by the game standards. So who am I really to go against the game? It will go to him then, to Chicken. and we will be taking a short break. When we come back, it will be Sky. The VULPES Lumina Gaming matchup is continuing. Don't go anywhere.
Don't get left behind on the road. 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 We play Tupac, Chirac, and we turn the music up when he raps about hope. We hold our thumbs high and hope someone is kind enough to give us all a ride.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2, Round 2 of Champions League. My name is Retro, and we're back with Arctic VULPES and Lumina Gaming. This is map 2 of their matchup. It is also the final map that we will be seeing of Champions League Round 2. Of course, the Premier League is still ongoing. There's still a few games getting played, as there are of Alpha League, but this is the final game of the Champions League, so it's going to be very, very exciting to see actually the outcome of this one. If you missed the previous map, which was on Clubhouse between, of course, these two teams, then if you're a Lumina Gaming fan, I regret to inform you that they did lose. It was a 7-4 closeout from Arctic VULPES in regulation, which following their double overtime fiasco is the wrong word. I can't remember the word. English isn't my first language. I do apologize for that. But following their previous matchup in round 1 against Vitical Esports that went full overtime on both maps. Very, very, very good pacing here from VULPES, and Lumina Gaming are still chasing points. Just in general, they're still chasing any points at all so far in this season. But, even if they don't get any points from this matchup, as of course they just missed out on getting some in the previous map, and they lost in regulation as well against the senior Arctic Esports team in round 1. Of course, even if they don't win, they will not be the only team without any points at this moment, as of course Eternity Esports are down there as well at the bottom of the leaderboard. So Lumina Gaming really are just looking for some round difference and a buffer between that last place at the moment. And as I keep saying, points and placements don't really start to matter that much until about round 4 or 5. That is really what teams, especially teams without any points, need to start thinking about getting some points, building themselves a base, and getting a serious buffer of round difference to be able to survive throughout the season. As of course, only the top 6 of 8 places or teams in the Champions League get promoted into the playoffs. The top 2 of Premier League get the same treatment, and the teams from Alpha League unfortunately do not get a chance to promote themselves into the playoffs. The highest that they could go to is the relegation matches at the end of the season, where the top 2 teams from Alpha League have the opportunity to put themselves or promote themselves into Premier League, and the bottom 2 teams of Premier League are fighting for that spot in Premier League. But a couple of runouts and a couple spawn peaks be getting prepped already by Arctic VULPES, which is what we saw from them in the previous map as well, where they were very, very aggressive. And that aggression sometimes paid off. For 4 whole rounds that were won by Lumina, the aggression did not pay off. Lumina were able to take advantage of it and were able to find those round wins. Question is whether that aggression will be matched by Lumina in this game, or in this map rather, or if Lumina are going to continue to play their own game and try to find round wins the way that they best know how to. But the round is well underway. A minute already gone. Lumina have made their way inside of the building, which I did hold my breath for a little moment there with all of those spawn peaks and runouts being prepped. I got a little bit worried they may not be able to do that, and Chicken is still chancing a run up from that exhibition door. Of course, you will not be finding anything that side of the map as there's no one there. But here comes the first opening kill from Rooney, who pushes down those stairs, finds Ultra. Connor on the other end of the map finds Zet, and now a situation all too familiar to these two teams so far in this matchup. It is a 3-5 man count for Lumina to try and still clutch up this round. Rooney will be pushing down those stairs, finds another one onto Solrus. Meanwhile, Dyer taking care of Oost and Maggie. All to zone on the Sens, who we don't even get seen played that often. Having to try and achieve something here, but I don't think that he will even be trying to. I think that they will be using this time. Of course, they have a lot of it, and this move isn't illegal. They will be taking this time as a sort of tactical timeout without actually having to take one. As of course, they didn't take one in the previous map. Only Arctic VULPES did, which was actually quite surprising. I was shocked at the fact that they were taking a timeout, because At that point, they were already leading 4-1. So then taking the timeout really was not necessary. They still had the lead, but some might say that timeout actually messed them up a little bit because they continued to lose rounds after that one. Dyer saying take the timeout again. As I say, this move isn't illegal, even by T1 standards. It's just a little bit frowned upon, especially by the opposing teams and everything. As of course, it's just this, it's stalling. It's stalling for time. It's abusing a system that maybe isn't the best, but of course, it's Siege, and if they had a couple players, then this time it might still be used in the same way, and the runouts are coming out as well as VULPES get more and more impatient. But that timer will run out. The round will go to VULPES to start this match off, and hopefully the conversations that they had 2 minutes for is going to do something for them. And VULPES again in a completely, unbelievably unnecessary situation, taking a timeout again, all the way, right away, in round 2. Observer Happy saying actually stop trolling. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just a little bit. I mean, maybe they aren't trolling, but I really don't see what they could need a timeout for in this moment. I mean, they didn't lose a round. In fact, they won it very, very convincingly. It wasn't even close. It was a flawless, which I forgot to even mention. Or I guess technically it wasn't a flawless because they didn't get the final kill, but it basically was because he would have been dead had he, peeked his head anywhere. I mean, we've seen them smack talk again. As I say, these teams, they know each other very, very well, and they there's not much bad blood, or at least not to my knowledge, there isn't any bad blood. I think it's just one of those days where teams are just feeling very, very pumped up, and VULPES are definitely on that roll right now. But as I said, a completely unnecessary timeout. I mean, a lot of the times I am begging for teams to take a timeout because it's such a vital piece of utility. Really, it's a strategical utility that very few teams actually end up taking advantage of, and then they lose rounds and they lose games. And then, you wonder, had they taken the timeout after they lost 4 rounds in a row, would they have been able to stop the momentum? Would they have been able to turn things around? Would they have been able to maybe take it to overtime, maybe win it? Who knows? But Arctic VULPES just taking it in round 2 after they won a round very, very convincingly puts them at a bit of a back foot, because if Lumina Gaming now start taking rounds, then VULPES won't have the opportunity to take away that momentum with the timeout. Unless they, unfortunately, have another technical timeout, which is what they had in the previous map. But all of that is sort of what if, could have, would have, should have. I don't really know. But it's a sort of hypothetical, really. It's like, if Lumina, but they're still going for that aggression with those spawn peaks, with those runouts. And Lumina Gaming seems to be a little bit more aware, a little bit more prepared for it, as well as Maggie now switching off of the Sens and going on to the Blackbeard instead. Of course, another operator that is a little bit frowned upon, just considering the utility that he brings. Of course, those shields that protect you from headshots. And a run-out attempt will be, or a spawn peek attempt will be countered by the Blackbeard. He finds one, nearly finds another one, but is taking a lot of damage as well. There's really not that much strategical things for me to talk about. I mean, they are going for the exhibition site defense this time, or actually there's a kitchen site defense, my apologies. They're going for a kitchen site defense. Maggie will find another one with the cannon with that Blackbeard. Blackbeard DMR, or Blackbeard marksman rifle. That's something that you see very, very often, but of course, considering that his AR is one of the worst guns in the game, not surprising that they're choosing to not bring that, and Solros will find Dyer, and this is exactly what I was saying, is that now that they could be losing this round, and that momentum could have been ended by the timeout that they requested, ignoring the drones completely as well, just shows the confidence that they're going into the rest of this match with. And as Oos finds Chicken, or they find each other rather, denying the flawless round into Lumina, it's all down to Rooney, who's at the bottom floor, finds himself behind this bar, and in 1 versus 4 with 75 seconds to go, that is about the most time that Lumina Gaming could be having in this situation. More than enough time, more than enough people, more than enough utility to actually get that plant down, to get the round win as well. The wall will be getting opened up into from the black stairs. Zet going for that plant. Maggie still on that window with the Blackbeard, just waiting for somebody to push, or for Rooney specifically to push. He might be chancing a run out as well. He knows there's somebody on that window, but he doesn't know that it's the Blackbeard, and it's Maggie that takes the kill, wins the round, and Lumina Gaming put themselves on the board. Again, as I said before, I do really apologize for the casting in this particular map. There's really not that much strategical discussion to be had about what Arctic Wolves are currently doing. What they're currently doing is running out, spawn peeking, and just picking sites for the sake of picking sites. I don't think that there's really that much of a strategical decision going on behind the scenes, considering the kitchen and barbecue is consistently across the board a tertiary site for pretty much all teams, including VULPES. So for them to just be picking on the kitchen for their secondary site, very, very unusual and quite unlikely to see from any team, even Arctic Wolves. And of course, they aren't really bringing anything spectacular in that defense either. It's very, very default, bringing these area denial operators such as the Goyo, bringing the wall denial operators such as the Bandit, of course, denying a potential rush coming out from the side of Lumina Gaming, which I doubt that we would even see with the Capcan, and then, protecting themselves from any sort of drones, from any sort of flashbangs with the Warden and the Mozzie, but a very, very default setup. They haven't really done a far extension all the way into Dragon or into Terrace. There's no Castle brought, there's no Azami, despite her not being banned and her being very, very, very strong on this map. It's just a very, very basic default setup paired with very, very aggressive approaches, including this one inside of a Geisha room, which of course does tend to be quite common, but not in the same playstyle that we currently have seen the exhibit. Lumina Gaming going first for that Geisha wall, just trying to make Arctic Wolves a little bit uncomfortable, and Arctic Wolves are, as I said, keep being aggressive, and that aggression gets punished by themselves as Cannon has a little TK accident onto Connor. Chicken is there to find Solverus. Ultra unable to get the trade, although doing a little bit of damage, whether he knows or not, through the wall. Chicken is there with the swing, finds another one. Oost finds the trade onto the Goyo. Equalizes the man count yet again, and once again, with these teams, we haven't really cracked those 90 seconds in the round. Already seems to be well and truly, underway. There were times when on the previous map it was already over at the 90-second mark. Beautiful shot from Moose to take down Rooney, and now it's all down to Dyer and Red Cannon, the Capcan and the Muzzy to try and win this round out. Cannon, of course, being the only person on set at the moment, as Dyer finds himself all the way inside of T-Room, looking for a potential flank opportunity, which I do seriously hope that Lumina have plenty of drones to catch out. They do not, as Dyer finds Zeus. Zet is there for the trade, and now it's all down to Cannon in a 1 versus 2. He still has site control. 50 seconds to go, and they're really going to be pushing him only from one direction at the moment, as the Maverick is still up on that wall. Looks away just the wrong second as he just peeks him over the bar, but the Capcan trap post-mortem will find Ultra, and that's all down to Zet. Actually, that was Maggie. My apologies. It's all down to Zet. Slightly lower HP than his enemy, and the C4 will go out. It will find the final kill in a round that really, by all counts, should have gone to Lumina Gaming. Goes to Arctic Wolves instead. Very, very, very unfortunate for Lumina Gaming, as that was their round all throughout. Not much to say about that, really. I mean, other than the fact that they really should have taken their time and droned it out a little bit. I do forget whether they had any utility to actually drone out those captain traps and to spot out the final player. But even if they had one that was set up for a flank watch, you can still use your teammate to be right next to you, and for your teammate to be holding your watch while you take your drone that was set up for flank watch, take it all the way through sight, see where the final player is, maybe spot out those capture traps, prevent your teammate from dying, and then you're able to win the round. But of course, you know, unable to know that, I think they're a little bit frustrated with the fact that they reinforced what should have been a rotate, bringing that Kapkan, still sticking with it. Connor on the Oryx as well, looking for quite a deep roam here. Again, very, very aggressive playstyle from this entire team. And another spawn peek attempt coming out as well from Connor. Ooze could just be the victim. They find each other, but neither of them come away with it with a kill. Come away from it with a kill, rather. Ooze still trying to find that kill. Will not find anything. Neither will Connor. Bringing that Blackbeard again is Maggie. Rooney taking damage and going down to Ooze as he was trying to go for another run-out or spawn peek attempt on that door. Soros will find the red cannon as he was trying to do the exact same thing. Connor down below will have to rotate all the way back to site. But they have some information about where these enemies could be. Chicken will find Soros, Dyer inside of Barbecue. Alongside Connor is challenging onto any players pushing in from this sort of sushi bar area. Chicken, the only player still on site, is getting challenged onto, is getting droned out quite extensively, but Lumina Gaming have slowed it down a little bit, have decided to stall, and this time take their time and spot out those Captain traps, spot out the players that are remaining, and try to win this round without losing any more bodies. More drones coming out. Connor spots that one out, knows exactly where push is coming in, and beautiful pre-fire through the wall, finds Zet. Dyer is there to find Ooze, and the man advantage once again in the hands of VULPES. Could be doing some damage. Maggie runs out, or rather Dyer runs out, dies to a dies to a Claymore. My goodness, I cannot know how to talk today. Connor looking for potentially another run-out attempt, another spawn peek attempt, as was Chicken, who's currently not on site, but of course with that diffuser being gone outside, they will have to go for a retrieve mission. They do finally find it. Retrieve it back in their hands. It's now 60 seconds to go for this team of 2 versus another team of 2. They're going to be rotating all the way around to this dragon balcony to potentially find themselves an inn. This was the only place where their teammates didn't die, and it is a place where 2 kills were gotten for their side. Connor is looking to challenge onto that exact doorway, but he's going up against the Blackbeard, and has not anyone told you that you can't win against the Blackbeard? Maggie finds the kill. It's a 1 versus 2 for Chicken.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Diffuser gets dropped and exchanged between the players through the wall. They try to exchange, or Chicken tries to find a kill, but instead Maggie that finds it. Around going to Lumina yet again. And I mean, again, I found it very interesting the fact that the VULPES are calling out the toxicity coming out from Lumina when they are the ones that have been giving up most of the smack talking. It's just a little bit ironic. Again, none of this is really all that serious, or at least I really hope so. I truly hope so. I don't know all of these players that well. Of course, I'm just a caster. I know some of them. But I really hope that there's nothing really too serious to this. It's only round 2. It would be very, very silly if, you know, there was actual bad blood coming out between any of these teams, really. I mean, it's just a league, and we're all here to have some good time in Siege, so it would really suck if that was any more serious than it seems to be. But another round on the board as Illumina finally equalized the scoreline yet again. 2-2. They're bringing a Thunderbird this time to try and save themselves from losing damage, from losing HP or dying early. To, you know, the spawn peek and run out attempts. This time they make the rotate onto the top of Black Stairs, and they're still going for that same aggression as always, or at least we saw it for a moment from Red Cannon on that doorway, but he did decide to rotate around from it. Is that Rooney bringing the spaz on the Thunderbird? I do believe so. An unlikely weapon to be brought, but of course, with that bearing 9 and shotgun combo, it's actually not even that bad of a decision. And Maggie again on this window, looking to deny any potential spawn peeks. Of course, the shield saves Maggie's life. And, well, there's no shield for Red Cannon as Oost finds him. And the shield of Montaigne does push in, but of course, they get the down onto Oost. And there goes a beautiful, beautiful kill from Solvers, who first in pushed in with the Monty shield, found the down, and then finished him up with a pistol. Trying to retrieve his teammate, but of course can't, as he's getting challenged onto quite a bit. Chicken, all you really need to do is just pop that Vulcan canister on the doorway. He will do just that, doing a little bit of damage onto Solros, who is having to push down those stairs, and Oost is there just waiting for a peek from Chicken. Finds the head, and now it's all down to Dyer and Connor in a 2 versus 5 to try and find the rest of this round. Ultra will find Dyer, and now Connor, with the plant going down in a 1 versus 5, will have to be absolutely flawless for the rest of this round to try and find the round win. He will find one onto Oost, but he's going to be challenged from behind and from the front, as well as Ultra goes for a bit of a flank mission. Meanwhile, the rest of the players are all situated inside of sight or nearby it, taking a little bit of damage, or trying to do a little damage onto Ultra. Connor will find Zet. Ultra pushing again from behind him. I don't know if they have any cameras on that backside. Even if they did, no one's watching them, so they're not going to be able to know. And a flashbang that really should have flashed him doesn't, and instead Ultra is... Oh, actually, it wasn't a flashbang, it was a frag grenade. I don't know why I thought it was a flashbang. But Ultra will find a final kill. Another round going the way of Lumina Gaming. Really... very interesting matchup. I don't know if anybody was there who is watching currently, but in the playoffs, back at Season 1 playoffs, it was, I believe it was a Lumina Gaming game. Could not for the life of me remember who they were playing against. But it was a very, very strange game. It was a game on Cafe. And it was sort of all over the place. It was because Lumina at the time, again, because of the roster changes that they had to implement after Season 1, they had a few subs playing, which completely messed with their flow, completely messed with any strategies that they had. And it was a very, very strange game to actually watch at the cast, because you simply couldn't tell what was going on half the time. It was very, very similar to this. Bomb peaks, runouts, default setups, and just complete chaos. And that is very much what this feels like, because again, VULPES are playing completely default setups, bringing of course these observation blockers for quite a few of these rounds, which I'm very, very happy to see. The brand new secondary gadget for the defense that has come out in this season alongside the Fenrir, which we are seeing for the first time on this map. The brand new operator in season year 8 season 2 Operation Dread Factor. So apart from, you know, the observation blockers and the Fenrir, still very, very default, very basic setups that we've seen time and time again. So very, very strange game to really have to be casting at this point. I always say that, you know, sometimes Pro League is a little bit easier to cast, you know, when you take a VOD and then you mute the stream and then you're casting it by yourself. That is one of the ways that casters tend to get better at casting, because, you know, then you can compare yourself to the pros. But sometimes it really feels like that is way easier to cast, just because you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly the setup that they're going to do. You know why they're doing it. And it's a lot easier to dissect than just, you know, chaos. And Connor, trying to contest onto the player up on the rappel, will lose his life. Instead, the opening death going once again the way of VULPES. That wall we're getting opened up again. Dyer, with a beautiful swing, finds Oost, equalizes the man count yet again. Rotates back down these restaurant stairs and is looking for a potential flank up the black stairs instead, or maybe even a C4 from below. Well, he cannot, because he does not have a C4 in pocket. He's got only those impact grenades, but Maggie from that window will find yet another one, this time through the wall all the way inside of Dragon, but he will not be able to find a finisher or his teammate that manages to pick him back up. Again, well over 90 seconds have gone in this round, 75 to go for Lumina still in this push. Those fan rear gadgets, of course, whenever an attacker is within proximity, it deploys a massive purple smoke bubble that prevents the attackers from seeing, and the fan rear can see through it just fine, similar to how Ying can see through the flashes of her candelas, and he's able to pick up quite a few kills, so that will definitely be another line of defense for the attackers to go through, as Red Cannon is over on the other side of the map still. Maggie doing a little bit of damage through to these reinforcements, trying to make VULPES a little bit uncomfortable, but instead they just gave them a perfect peek onto the attackers should they come from that side. And again, looking through these Maverick holes are the attackers. Rooney will find one into Maggie. Ultra is there with the refrag immediately. Equalizes scoreline yet again, but Chicken behind that counter will find one.
15 seconds to go.
And Red Cannon inside of sight will find one more. It's all down to Ultra. He will find it down with the Chicken, but there's Cannon with the swing from inside of VIP to find a final one. Win the round for AV, and truly, I do not know how to cast this, or what is even going on. But it's a 3-3 split, which really, truly, I don't think anybody was really expecting, especially after how the previous map went. If you were there, or if you remember me telling you about how it was pretty much very similar to this. A lot of spawn peaks, a lot of runouts. VULPES being aggressive in situations where that just wasn't necessary, and Lumina trying their hardest to counter that and to go up against that, as of course it's not that easy to actually achieve that. But now with the side switch, it might be a little bit easier for them, as of course they don't have as big of a job under or right in front of them, so it might be a little bit easier. But of course VULPES were very aggressive on their attacks as well. They were in sight sometimes within 30 seconds, sometimes within 60. Very, very rarely did the rounds on VULPES attacks go on longer than 90 seconds. They were just in and out, very quick, nearly flawless every single time, and Lumina had a very hard time actually putting up a fight against that. It was only after the tech timeout and the tactical timeout coming up from VULPES that they were able to find 2 rounds on their defensive half, and they found a couple more on the attacking half, but then they just weren't able to hold on to it for all that long. And bringing that Monty right off the bat is Rooney. Dyer taking the Grim, who I do believe we already saw him bring before, and expertly using it to flush out any defenders from their positions, but also a very, very clever way of baiting out C4s from below. Oost challenging onto potentially some of these players, pushing in from the kitchen side or from the rappel side. Ooh, oh my lord, that was very, very sloppy from both of these players. Connor and Cannon took a lot of damage already on these windows. Minute gone. That's the longest I think that we've gone so far without a death happening. Let's say from like maybe 1 round all the way back on Clubhouse. Definitely the first time here, and of course bringing that Goyo, our Lumina, to deny any sort of area from the side of VULPES with a vertical grenade, or as he's getting ready for a vertical grenade onto the smoke. Instead, Oos goes down, and Zet just trying to find something with these vertical angles. Oh, if only he knew how close he was to actually getting that kill. Maggie will find one to Rooney. That is the what's his name? The Monty gone. Red Cannon from below will be finding Ultra with a frag grenade. Those B's doing a good job of pushing Solrus out of his position. Zet will find Chicken. Is Solrus aware of the Capital already inside of Geisha? He is just a little bit too late on that trigger, and instead he goes down, but Connor is a very, very low HP. He only needs 1 tick of that fire to go down, or of that smoke. Maggie rotates through the balcony so that he's able to join his teammate without taking any damage or without being shut down from the Black Stairs are from inside of Karaoke. Zet trying to contest onto the players pushing in from Geisha. Of course, he still has all three of those smoke babes in pocket. Connor will find one. Maggie is there with a refrag onto Cannon. 25 seconds to go. The plant still not going down, and they still don't have diffuser. 1 versus 2 for Maggie. There's so many of these vertical angles that they could be looking at him through, that they could be finding him. They retrieve the diffuser, and the plant will be going down. He doesn't have the C4 anymore, of course, as Goyo has lost the C4, and it will be through the rotate that Connor will find him. First attacking round from AV goes their way. Really, truly don't know what to say or what to think. VULPES take yet another round, retake the lead, put themselves a little bit closer to getting a few more of those points. Of course, Lumina still chasing a point in the season so far, and wouldn't it be great if they could win a couple more rounds here in quick succession and pick up 3 points, if not more. Well, they cannot pick up more, actually. They cannot pick up more, but they could be picking up, at least one. Should they win, or should they take it to 6 rounds? But that's hard to know. Going to defend Exhibition and Office side this time. Seeing that, well, maybe Karaoke didn't work out too well. They were in and out too quickly. We weren't able to go up against that. Maybe going to Exhibition now will be a little bit easier. There's a lot less vertical pressure, or at least a lot less vertical pressure to where we cannot escape it. As of course, you don't really need to be sitting in sight when you're defending Exhibition and Office. You can sort of be site adjacent whenever you're defending it, just because of how big it is and how few entry points there really are for the attackers. But the push is already starting to come out from the Geisha side, and of course there are quite a few players holding on to that, and that Mew Jammer will be denying that Summer Charge from deploying fully and from opening up that wall. Of course, very, very cleverly it is placed on the other side of that Geisha drum wall, so they are not even able to destroy it. But the thermite charge will get exploded onto the main breach as well, so that is another entry point here for Arctic VULPES already open. With only about 75 seconds gone in the round. Not even, I'm lying. That was 45. Got a little bit confused. Oost, in a very, very tricky position there, manages to get himself away with the aid of those Kiba barriers. And using the second thermite charge, they make their way inside of Geisha. I don't think that Oost was even prepared for that at all. Chicken will find another one on the Zet. Ultra, Saurus, and Maggie now in a 3 versus 5 to try and hold on to this round and to this match for their team. Ultra, DMR in hand, still holding on to that shield, which typically in a normal situation, in a normal push, ends up being one of the most crucial positions for the defense to be holding on to. But of course, when VULPES are playing so aggressively and aren't even pushing that side of the map, it's a lot harder for him to actually achieve anything from there with that main breach open. Solar is sort of stuck inside of Exhibition, just trying to do some pot shots onto whoever he could find, but he'll get taken down by Cannon, who he was engaging with for the longest time. Maggie will find one, immediately taken down by Rooney, and now it's all down to Ultra, who will get taken down as well. VULPES take another round. Put themselves just a step away now from match point and from securing themselves the 4th point in this matchup. And it is really, really not looking good for Lumina. As I said in the previous map, this is a team that has quite a large legacy in competitive gaming, not just in R6, but also in other franchises, in other industries, in other franchises. So to see them struggle like this in R6 competitive at the moment because of the roster changes that they had to implement, it really, really sucks for them. They take a tactical timeout. At the same time, a teammate disconnects. That will be Maggie, so they might even have to extend this into a technical timeout as well. Yep, that is confirmed now from Zet. So a technical timeout that they might be, looking to try and fix something with. They might be looking to talk about something, might be getting a little bit stressful now as they're not able to actually do that due to the technical timeout as well. And then, they start to get a little bit stressful. Hey, what's up with your game? When you're loading up yet? Especially when you were losing in this sort of way. He stopped there, couldn't handle the transition, says Ultra. When you're already losing like this, the mentals might already be a little bit, might already be taking a slight hit, especially when you're losing to things that you really shouldn't be losing to. I mean, it's just unpunished aggression. That is the only way that I'd be able to describe what VULPES have been doing for. This is round 9. We had 11 rounds previously, so by mathematics, this would make it a 20th round of gameplay, and for the past 20 rounds, all that I could really describe for the Arctic VULPES, both defenses and attacks, is just unpunished aggression. They were punished a total of 7 times for that aggression, 3 times in this matchup or in this map, and 4 times on Clubhouse. But out of 20 rounds, 7 is not enough. You're gonna need to do a lot more, or Lumina are gonna need to do a lot more to put themselves ahead here. Now trailing 2 rounds behind VULPES at a 5-3 split currently. They are looking to have to win the next 4 rounds, a feat that they were only able to do from rounds 2 to round 5. Back in the first half. That isn't correct. I didn't keep the notes correctly, as this would suggest that it was a 4-2 split for the side of Lumina, but of course, as we can see, that is not true. So they have actually not been able to pick up a 4-round momentum at all so far this matchup. Of course, even the 4 rounds that they won on the Clubhouse weren't consecutive. So they are still struggling to find that momentum. They're still struggling to find,
attackers need to locate and defuse
4 rounds, which is exactly what they'll need if they want to close this out in regulation and pick up 3 points. Of course, they could win 3 rounds, lose 1, and then take it to overtime, but fewer points and more work for them to do in that situation. Going for a bedroom defense this time, a site that we pretty much never see. If you remember back when they were, when VULPES were defending Kitchen Barbecue, I said that it's a very unlikely bomb site to see from a team, especially when they were taking onto it for their secondary site, which typically you will only see Kitchen Barbecue as a tertiary site, and you will see bathroom almost never. Very, very rarely will a team actually pick it. But Lumina at this point just desperate for rounds. They are bringing a Frost to try and deny that rush yet again coming out from the side of VULPES, but of course if that Frost Trap gets droned out, which they have a bit of drone utility coming in from that drone hole as well, it might just be possible. Here comes the jump in, here comes the rush, they take 1, but immediately VULPES are in there despite losing 2, and the plant is going down. Lumina are not able to find anything from vertical angle. Solvers just might be able to find one. He does find down on the chicken, and he does find Rooney as well. It's all down to Cannon now in a 1 versus 2. Vertical angles as well as some horizontal pressure coming out from the side of Lumina. Maggie, 10 kills to his name, the most of anybody in the lobby currently. Through the wall, Solvers is trying to find him, and he will find him.
Position compromised.
Maggie will be going for the counter defuse, or the disabling of the diffuser, and the round will end up going to Lumina. They find their 4th on this map, close the lead just a tiny bit, and Well, it's the first of potentially 4 that they would, or it's the first of the 4 that they need to close this out in regulation. Going back to karaoke and tea room yet again. A bomb site that they got very close to winning last time that they played it, but they weren't able to hold on to it, unfortunately.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
The first time... Oh, no. No, never mind. I was thinking about something else. Yeah, it is a site that they got close to winning the last time. It came down to a 2 versus 2, I believe. And they just were not able to... I think it was actually a 1 versus 2 in the end. They just weren't able to do anything with that round. And VULPES retook the lead after that one. But now, in a slightly different approach with that castle. And again, using the Goyo to stop any pushes from coming in too quickly or at all. Who's done a roam down below, trying to find some of these drones that are already botting him out quickly and swiftly, and quite a lot of site reconstruction coming up from Lumina as well to try and open up as many of these angles as possible to make VULPES as uncomfortable as possible. And just trying to find around Oos down below inside of kitchen, maybe trying to find somebody through that window yet again. Something that we saw him try and achieve last time. It did not work out. And this time will not work out again as, of course, nobody peeks him. But he's still down there, and he could be going for a kill with the C4, but instead it's Red Cannon from the rappel to take down Solverst. It's the first death going, or the first kill going VULPES' way again. C4 will pop, but it will not find Cannon. It will find about 50 HP of his life, but it will not find the kill. Ultra, all by himself inside of karaoke room, trying to hold off the attackers for as long as possible. That is Maggie chancing maybe even a run-out attempt onto that balcony. And Ultra will find Rooney. That's the Monty off the board yet again. Very, very important kill for Lumina to actually find, but Dyer is there with the refrag onto Oost. 3 versus 4 with Ultra on just a sliver of HP. Connor, or Red Cannon rather, and Dyer both working on slightly lower HP. Red Cannon will be finding Oost, and that's all down to Ultra and Maggie. Maggie taking a lot of damage. Both of the defenders now on just a sliver of HP. Cannon will find Maggie. It's all down to Ultra, the UMP-45 in hand, one of the slowest fire rate weapons in the game. Cannot do anything against the G36 from Chicken, and the round goes AV's way. They put themselves on map point. They take another point in the season and secure themselves at least 1 from this current matchup. Back to exhibition and office they go. It was a site that they got very, very close to winning on attack. Unfortunately, still having technical issues, losing 2 of their players.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
It will have to play out as a 3 versus 5, as, of course, Lumina Gaming have already used up their technical timeout earlier, so they are not able to.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Now make it a 2 versus 5, and I don't know if this round will even end up playing out, as of course
10 seconds to insertion. 5 seconds left. Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Yep, as we await, per the rules, each team is only allowed 1 technical pause per map. They are not allowed another, as of course they've already used one right after their tactical timeout all the way in round 9, a couple rounds ago. Solrus will be finding Dyer. Rooney immediately with the trade, and now it's all down to Ultra. He will not be able to do anything in a 1 versus 4. That is GG's. Very, very unfortunate. Very, very, very unlucky for Lumina to end up in the way that they have ended up. They're a little bit frustrated now with the rule, but of course a rehost is not a technical pause. I do believe that they were still permitted one more rehosts, considering that they haven't done it yet. But of course, technical pause and a rehost are not the same thing, and they are permitted only one of each. They've already used their technical pause. They cannot use another. And very, very, very unfortunate end to that game. Again, as I said, unpunished aggression coming out on all fronts from the side of VULPES. Really not much more to say about that. I don't even know who to give the MVP to. I'll just, top of the dome, I'll give it to Red Cannon, just because I believe that he was on the scoreboard quite often. If you're a VULPES player at the moment and, are upset with that decision, well, there's still 5 more rounds to play. This is only round 2, and it was kind of a very chaotic game as well that is really, really difficult to actually make decisions for, and it was very, very difficult for me to cast it, so I do apologize for that. It is definitely not one of my best outings, so if you were a little bit, confused or lost, well, I apologize, but so was I. It was very, very chaotic, but that will close up that matchup. It is a 7-4, 7-4 closeout from VULPES. They pick up 6 points from this one. Lumina Gaming, alongside Eternity, still chasing points. But of course, as I said before, and as I will continue to say until we reach that point, is that points and standings don't matter all that much yet. They really start to become a really, really big problem at around round 4 or round 5, especially for teams that don't have any points or that have very low points, about 1 or 2 from a couple overtime wins. So both Eternity and Lumina are still okay for a little while, but they definitely want to start looking at building themselves a base of those points, and especially you wanted to start to build themselves a base of round differences. Of course, there could be a situation where multiple teams have the exact same points, but then the round differences will be what decides who goes where and who does what. With those 6 points, VULPES secure themselves in the 6th place, or in the 4th place, my apologies, in the 4th place on the leaderboard, of course, behind Eterno, the only team to have gotten max points, meaning that they've won all 4 of their maps in regulation. VULPES trailing behind with 10, Vidical on 9, and VULPES as well on 9. Of course, Vidical had a +2 round difference on VULPES, so that is why they are ahead of them, despite the same exact points. But as I said, that will close out this matchup. That will also close out this round. It is the final game, or it was the final game of Champions League Round 2. Some of the Premier games and some of the Alpha League games are still going on at the moment, so keep an eye on our socials either today or tomorrow to see the final standings. And make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so that you know when we next go live with Round 3 next week, or this following week starting from tomorrow. But anyway, I've been Retro. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a good night.
Can hardly believe it. Never thought we would start this rolling stone. Don't know where I'm going, but I know that I'm better off alone. Feel the weight and it's pulling me under. Started strong, but the distance grew on. I just wanna be me. I just wanna be free. No, I don't wanna fight, 'cause I know we'll be fine. Just to say our goodbye. I just wanna be me. I just wanna be me. Never thought we would face this. Looking back, how could we ever know? Don't know where we're going, but I know that we're better off alone. Feel the weight and it's pulling me under. Started strong, but the distance grew on. I just wanna be me. I just wanna be free. No, I don't wanna fight, 'cause I know we'll be fine. Just to say our goodbye. I just wanna be me. I just wanna be me. I just wanna be me. I just wanna be free.